Good morning, Namaskar. Professor Jagdish Kumarji, Chairman UGC, my friend and colleague Dr. Sitaraman, Chairman AICT, Mr. Rajkumar Sharma, the President of AICRA, other distinguished guests, dignitaries, students, faculty members, ladies and gentlemen. Very good morning. At the onset, I would like to showcase India's capability, which have been seen in the recent past, which demonstrates our capability in the field of STEM. Starting with the launch of Mangalyaan 3, which we just now celebrated, with the presence of all the women who have been instrumental in making it a success. The recent commissioning of our pressurized heavy water reactor of 700 megawatt. About a year and a half back, launch of an interceptor to intercept a satellite in the low Earth orbit. And our excellent performance of vaccine development during the COVID. These are the shining examples of India's STEM capability and the participation of what our country's human resource, both men and women, have done for making it a great success. I would like to talk today about the role of our women as far as women are concerned in the STEM. And I'll take from the statement which our Honorable Prime Minister made some time back in the 108th Indian Science Congress. He said that the motive of the current science and technology ecosystem is to empower science by the contribution of women, and not just empower women by science. So there's a small difference you can make out. And that's why now he has started talking about not women in development, but women-led development. So that makes leadership as one of the primary requirements for women to lead all ventures what we are talking of today. Women in STEM is a very important area, and over the last century, eradication of the gender disparities has emerged as a key driver for inclusive and sustainable economic growth. I'm using that word very, very carefully, sustainable economic growth, because the technologies which we have developed so far over the last few centuries have led to such a situation that we have started talking about the adverse impact of such of these technologies. And what Professor Jagdish was telling, that what is happening, global warming and things like that, which requires a special effort in terms of sustainability. The objective to one's perspective, but women's role in it cannot be ignored, be it from any front, economic, social, or political. By empowering half of the potential workforce, tangible economic benefits unfold beyond the horizon of gender equality and leading to global sustainability. Thus, women empowerment for sustainable development is not only important, but is absolutely necessary. What does the world think about it? As per the United Nations, during the last 15 years, our global community has made great efforts to inspire and engage females in the science and technology arena. In spite of that, there is a quote from UN's one of the reports: the women and girls continue to be excluded from the participating fully in science. At present, less than 30% of the researchers worldwide are only women. India is doing better than the world average. We are about 43. So UNESCO also has been taking up the challenge to address this issue through research, policy, and capacity building, as part of its efforts to promote the empowerment of girls and women through education. Now, we have a goal today. Honorable Prime Minister has announced that India should become a 5 trillion economy by 2030. And how it can be done? By reducing the gender disparities within the economic domain. And that must play a pivotal role. This can be achieved by increased participation of women in the science and technology, STEM research, and so on. As we stand in the brink of next industrial revolution, we now talk of Industry 4.0, Society 5.0, all these things which are responsible. And in this brink, the major things which are taking place are the introduction of more than 25 disruptive technologies. And shining examples like the Chandrayaan mission are some of those technologies like automation, artificial intelligence, data, communication, robotics, all that has been part of such missions. So these disruptive technologies demand a special foundation for STEM. And that's why now STEM has taken a different world. Now it is not STEM, but STEMM also. Of course, Dr. Sitaraman wants to introduce arts in that, but as on today, it is medicine. The last STEM is for medicine. This is critical for accelerating technology-led economic growth and consequent India's future development. And if you see many sectors, women empowerment in S&T will lead to inclusive innovation. Independent India's ties with S&T began with the vision of social transformation through S&T. And this very initiative has experienced leading participation from visionary women who contributed to shaping the destiny of our country. India has achieved several milestones during the country's scientific journey, as I mentioned, a few only which happened in the last couple of years, by tracking the remarkable progress made by a wide spectrum of disciplines, from space research, missile technology, to computing, oceanography, and pharmacology, biotechnology, and all of them have been benefited by the participation of daughters in science. I would like to iterate some of the feats of our women, like Savitribai J. Phule, Kadambi Ganguly, Bhiva Chaudhary, E.K. Janki Ammal, Rajeshwari Chatterjee, Asima Chatterjee, Anna Mani, are some of the glorious examples among women who dared to dream in not only getting educated, but also showcasing professionalism and leadership in the STEM sector. In contrast, the previous timelines, the first 2 decades of this millennium, appears more populated with many young women scientists leading institutions and winning major science awards in India. Leaders like Sujata Ramodarai, first mathematician to win the Ramanuj Prize, Tessie Thomas, who has been responsible for missile development, Aditi Sende, quantum computation physicist, Jyotirmai Dash, organic chemist, Chandrama Saha, first woman president of the INSA, are continuing to set milestones in the scientific and technology pursuits. The times have changed, and we are experiencing participation of dynamic women in leading roles in S&T sector, both in national and global fronts. Today, we have our Director General of CISR, Dr. Kalai Selvi. There are many directors of different laboratories who are women there. For example, ISI. For example, many of the other DRDO labs, we have women directors. In G20, India has identified women-led development as one of the high priority subjects. With all this, what is happening is good, I agree, but there are still lots of challenges for women to go from the present Indian situation of 43% to 75%. That is what we are looking at. Women are held back. I am now narrating the challenges. Women are held back by biases, social norms, and expectation influencing the quality of education they receive and the subjects they study. In my own family, I had 3 sisters, all elder to me. My eldest sister took Hindi, my middle sister took economics. Only my youngest sister, who was almost same age as mine, she took science. There was a fear that women at that point in time should not be taking science as a subject. So that kind of a subject bias used to be there once upon a time. They are particularly underrepresented in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education, and consequently in careers in STEM. This gender disparity is alarming, especially as STEM careers are often referred to as the jobs of the future, because as I mentioned to you about the disruptive technologies, and driving innovation, social well-being, inclusive growth, and sustainable development. In India, 43% of the total graduates in STEM are women, I mentioned to you already, compared to 35% of the global average, which is one of the highest in the world. But only 14% become scientists, engineers, and technologists. One is participation, only those who really take some 8 or 9 of them are sitting here who are taken up as a career. In the current times, the boundaries between the physical and virtual world are blurring with the advent of emerging technologies whose future and scope are unparalleled. Without women participation, we will lack the dimension, the scope, and the spirit to clasp these changes. Women have a special lens and particular skill set to multitask, be more adaptive, be more resilient, and be more innovative, all of which are needed for scientific and technological growth. To bridge the gap in gender inequality and improve the future of women in STEM, it will take a collective feat and effort from teachers, industry leaders, society members, government, and individuals, and almost all stakeholders. We need to implement robust programs to build a strong pipeline of women through mentorship, recognition of women role models, reskilling, and engaging STEM education. Because strong STEM education creates critical thinkers, problem solvers, and next generation innovators. The new science, technology, and innovation policy, both the learned speakers talked about, NEP 2020, recommends measures aimed at educating and retaining women in STEM. In fact, there has been a major focus in that NEP 2020 on the STEM education. There's a major focus and the role of women in that. And for that, government has started many major programs. For example, there's a program called Kiran, Knowledge Involved in Research Advancement Through Nurturing, that was done by the DST. The West, Women in Engineering, Science and Technology. Gati, the Gender Advancement for Transforming Institutions. Curie, the Consolidation of University Research for Innovation and Excellence in Women Universities. BioCare is the Biotechnology Career Advancement and Reorientation Program that have been realized to promote participation of women in STEM research and develop state-of-the-art infrastructure for women's universities. I would like to now give a way forward because, as I mentioned to you, 43 has to go to 75, and more women have to come to enrich this area. And basically, development of our country to 2047 as a developed, completely developed nation, it requires that this whole onus should not remain male-dominated, but it should become women-dominated, women-led. So for this, the way forward is equal opportunities to pursue and thrive in STEM careers, which will help in narrowing the gender pay gap, enhance the women's economic security. It will ensure a diverse and talented STEM workforce and prevent biases in these fields and the resulting products and services. Governments and the global organizations should ensure the necessities to encourage the involvement of women in STEM. Give girls and women the skills and confidence to succeed in the STEM education. Improve STEM education and support for girls starting in early education. And this is one area where I would like to urge, because I have got two very important colleagues of mine sitting here. You see, there are two issues as far as our STEM education is concerned, which needs our attention today. When I was a student in 9th class, which was 1961, I had a very good physics lab, chemistry lab, biology lab in 9th class. Today, when I go to many of the private colleges, many of the government colleges, there are no labs. Till the 12th standard, a child does not see a science lab. They are only taught theory. They have not even handled a vernier caliper. Whereas we were taught vernier caliper, spherometer, screw gauge, all that we were taught at 9th class, 10th class, 11th class. We were taught how to do how to identify the radicals in a powder, whether it's bismuth or chlorine or whatever that. We were asked to do titration. When I asked recently a boy who has passed 12th standard, did you do titration? He said, no, sir, we didn't go to a chemistry lab at all. Now, this is a very alarming situation because second thing is the importance that engineering education can be done without science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. That's another major kind of a deviation which has been brought in by AICTE. Certainly, it is not the right approach, and we should do something about it. Because if you have to really look at the 25 disruptive technologies, none of them can be done, and particularly today's quantum technology, unless you have a good grinding in the STEM. I agree with you that we have to be multidisciplinary, and arts and humanities have to play a major role, because I need to learn industrial economics. I need to learn how to value my product. But that doesn't mean that I don't have to have physics, chemistry, and mathematics in my 12th standard, and I still can become an engineer or a medical student or something. So these are some of the deviations which are taking just to, I don't know what kind of a balance we want to maintain. I agree with you that we can promote more and more people through this passage, but that is not the way. While quantity is important, but quantity of poor quality is actually a biggest menace. If we have poor quality quantity, actually more a deterrent to the development rather than a factor to improve. So it is important, and we have to work to influence, recruit and retain women into STEM majors and fields in college and universities. We have to improve job hiring, retention, and promotion pathways, and intentionally inclusive cultures. So gender equality, besides being a fundamental human right, is essential to achieve peaceful societies with full human potential and realize sustainable development goals. I would like to congratulate the 9 or 10 young women who are sitting here who participated in Chandrayaan-3, and many others who are contributing to the science, technology, innovation in their own way, women and men who are sitting here, because it is STEM which is going to take India to 2047 developed nation. None other than that. So hence we should work towards that, strengthen our STEM education. I want to give you one more feedback. Till about 2000, India had a prominent position when people used to go from, students used to go from IITs, ISCs, and other places to American universities. The mathematical skills of the Indian scientists, Indian engineers, Indian scientists used to be much above the Americans and the Europeans. But today this is not the case. Today we have a downward hill on that. So that is showing there is a certain relaxation has come in our own teaching of the STEM. We have to improve. Multidisciplinarity has to be brought in. And of course, men and women both have to strengthen this, but women have to lead it. Thank you very much. God bless you all.